potential impact of complete ice melt on global sea levels. To grasp the enormity of the potential sea level rise if all the world's ice melted, we need to delve into various aspects of Earth's cryosphere, specifically the ice sheets, glaciers, and ice caps. The consequences of such an event would be profound, reshaping coastlines and affecting ecosystems and human populations worldwide. The current state of global ice. The Earth's ice is primarily stored in the polar ice sheets of Greenland and Antarctica, with additional ice contained in glaciers and ice caps scattered across mountain ranges around the world. Here's a breakdown of the major ice reserves. 1. Greenland ice sheet. The Greenland ice sheet contains approximately 2.85 million cubic kilometers of ice. If melted entirely, it would contribute about 7.4 meters (24.3 feet) to global sea level rise. 2. Antarctic ice sheet. The Antarctic ice sheet is even more massive, holding around 26.5 million cubic kilometers of ice. Its complete melting could result in a sea level rise of approximately 58 meters (190 feet). The Antarctic ice sheet is divided into two main parts. West Antarctic ice sheet. This section is particularly vulnerable because much of it rests below sea level, making it prone to rapid melting if ocean temperatures increase. East Antarctic ice sheet. This part is more stable and larger, containing the majority of Antarctic ice. Its potential to melt is a longer-term concern. 3. Mountain glaciers and ice caps. These smaller ice bodies are distributed across regions like the Himalayas, Andes, Rockies, and Alps. While individually less significant than the polar ice sheets, their combined volume is still substantial. Their complete melting could add another meter or more to sea level rise. The mechanics of ice melt and sea level rise. When considering the contribution of ice melt to sea level rise, it's important to distinguish between ice that is already floating on the ocean and land-based ice. Sea ice. Ice that floats on the ocean, such as the Arctic sea ice, does not significantly affect sea levels when it melts because it is already displacing water. This is similar to how a melting ice cube in a glass of water does not cause the glass to overflow. Land-based ice. Ice sheets and glaciers on land contribute directly to sea level rise when they melt and flow into the ocean. This is because the addition of previously land-bound water to the ocean increases its total volume. Potential sea level rise. Combining the contributions from Greenland, Antarctica, and other glaciers, scientists estimate that the total potential sea level rise could be around 66 meters (216 feet). However, this is a theoretical upper limit under a worst-case scenario where all ice melts completely. Timeline and likelihood. While such an event would dramatically reshape the world's coastlines, it's important to stress that complete melting of all ice on Earth is highly unlikely in the near future. Current climate models and projections suggest that even under severe global warming scenarios, this process would take thousands of years. However, ongoing melting of glaciers and parts of the polar ice sheets is already contributing to rising sea levels. Immediate impacts and risks. Even partial melting poses significant risks. Current estimates predict a sea level rise of about 0.3 to 1.1 meters, 1 to 3.6 feet by the end of the century, depending on the rate of global warming and ice melt. This more immediate rise could have profound impacts, including coastal erosion. Rising seas accelerate coastal erosion, threatening infrastructure, homes, and ecosystems. Flooding low-lying areas and small island nations are at increased risk of flooding, which can displace populations and disrupt livelihoods. Saltwater intrusion. Higher sea levels can lead to saltwater contaminating freshwater sources, affecting agriculture and drinking water supplies. Storm surges. Higher baseline sea levels can amplify the effects of storm surges during hurricanes and typhoons, leading to more severe coastal flooding. Mitigation and adaptation. Addressing the challenges posed by rising sea levels involves both mitigation and adaptation strategies. Mitigation. Reducing greenhouse gas emissions to slow global warming is critical. Transitioning to renewable energy sources, enhancing energy efficiency, and protecting and restoring carbon sinks like forests and wetlands are essential steps. Adaptation. Coastal communities must adapt to rising sea levels through measures like building seawalls, restoring mangroves and wetlands to buffer storm surges, and planning for managed retreat in the most vulnerable areas. Conclusion. The melting of the world's ice is a significant concern in the context of climate change, with potential impacts on sea levels that could drastically alter our planet's geography and affect millions of people. While the complete melting of all ice is not an immediate threat, the ongoing and accelerating melt of glaciers and polar ice sheets requires urgent action to mitigate climate change and adapt to its effects. By understanding the science and implementing proactive measures, we can better prepare for and address the challenges posed by rising sea levels.